Starcraft 2 is not boring. I've been reading a lot of complaints on the forums about how watching pro play has become boring, the meta is very stale, and that's actually all true. But don't forget that you don't have to play like that. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to play like an absolute baboon while still being able to compete on the highest level. And one thing I want to tell you guys beforehand, as someone who has played a lot of RTS games and climbed to the top level in a lot of them as well, is that in my experience, you improve way faster if you're actually having fun. If you are playing 3-gate Blink every single game against Terran, maybe it is the best build on paper by like 3% higher win rate. If you're not having a good time, you're still not going to improve. So what I'm trying to say is, unleash your inner baboon. And today I'm going to show you how. Let's begin. Okay, the first game is against Shameless, a 5.9k Grandmaster Protoss. Now let's see, how are we going to go completely off the rails in the first game? That is the question. So the standard formula for TVP is actually pretty simple. It's pretty much Terran does something aggressive early on, like not overly aggressive, just some kind of harassment. So think a couple Reapers in Hellions or like a Widowmine drop or something like that. The Protoss player plays 2, 3, or 4-gate Blink. And then the Terran sits back for a little bit, does a bio push after. That's pretty much every single TVP. Now, I am absolutely not interested in doing that, so we're going to do something completely different. Now, I have a couple of ideas here. I think I could play, for example, Command Center first. That is already an opening that no one ever plays against Protoss. But I think you can actually pretty much get away with, so maybe that's a good idea. I also want to play some kind of weird mechy style, which no one ever does against Protoss. And yeah, I think we're going to go for the CC first idea. If I get the opportunity to play mech after that as well, then that is going to be perfect, but I guess we'll just have to see. And by the way, just in case some people are arguing, look at the top 3 players in the world, they're all playing very standard and blah, blah, blah. I mean, you're not entirely wrong. If you look at the literal best players in the world, which right now would be Clem and Cyril, right? Rank 1 and 2. They do play very standard. But if you look just a little bit outside of that, you're already going to find really, really good players that, do their own thing. For Zerg, the first one I can think of is Dark, for example. Super creative Zerg, plays very fun, a massive fan favorite for the viewers because of that reason. You have Gumio as a Terran, who very often goes completely off the rails. And then you also have a player like Hero, who is either the best or the second best Protoss, depending on your POV. He is somewhat standard, but then sometimes he just decides to go completely off the rails as well. And I think that really shows that you can get very, very far playing like a baboon. And like I said in the intro, I'm 100% convinced it's true. If you're having fun, you're just going to improve faster. Now, that doesn't mean you need to go completely off the rails to have fun, right? But you can kind of find your own way in that. Just don't feel like you're stuck in having to play a certain way. You don't have to play 4-gate Blink every single game if you're Protoss, You don't have to play 1-1-1 into 3 racks bio push every single game if you're a Terran. It's just not really the case. You can have a little bit more creativity in that. Now, this opening I'm doing is actually particularly psychotic because I did indeed play Command Center first and I'm going into mech. And yeah, I mean, I have no idea if I'm even going to be able to survive whatever he does. It's actually a pretty nice distraction here already. I'm going to add my second factory. Let me try to think a little bit of what I need to do here. I need to get 3 Marines up. The reason why I need that is because 3 Marines can hold off 1 Adept, and then I should be able to get a Cyclone in time for whatever the second gateway unit's going to be. I need to add an extra depot a little early in the wall so he can't shade into my base. 3rd Marine is going to finish just in time, I believe, so I don't really have to worry about it too much. There we go. Need to make sure I don't lose this Marine too easily. Then I'm going to start that. I think I'm actually going to keep making Marines because he could make more Adepts. And that is going to be slightly annoying to deal with if I'm going to have to wait for that Cyclone. Now, there's a couple of follow-ups that I can do. Or, well, I mean, I can do anything, of course, but a couple of things I had in mind. I could go for a fast 3rd Command Center with this. Kind of play like Cyclone Tank and try to get a lot of eco. I also like the idea of just going for 2 Starport Banshee and just trying to catch him off guard. I think that would be pretty cool as well. Now, I haven't seen a second unit yet, so I guess I don't have to be afraid. I'm going to make one bunker over here. And then this Marine, since it's half dead anyway, I'm going to send it across the map to get a scout. Only 4 Marines fit in a bunker. And, oh, wait, this guy's going for a very cheesy build. I actually don't really mind this at all, I have to say. The problem is that these SCVs might die. No, I think I'm going to be able to save these SCVs too. Yeah, honestly, I don't mind this. I know I might sound a little crazy, but I really do not mind this very much. This is pretty much, well, an all-in is a big word, but it's very committed what he's doing. And I'm going to be able to survive this pretty well, honestly. So there is my tank. This tank is going to do a crazy amount of damage, by the way. Let's see if I can save those SCVs as well. It looks like I can. And all in all, this really is not so bad. Also, when people play like this, they tend to delay their, for example, their blink. I assume blink is going to be the follow-up. It could also be a robo, potentially in this case. So maybe delay his Colossus, stuff like that. It's also going to be able to kill a couple more adepts here. And this was a pretty nice hold in the end. All based off the Sisyphus double factory opening. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the fast third command center. Well, at this point, I don't know if it's considered fast anymore, but still relatively fast considering I was just being attacked. And I mean, so far, I'm pretty happy with the opening here. This really does not seem so bad at all. I'm going to do something that's very old school. And that is fly my barracks to the front. I mean, it's old school for multiple reasons. First of all, people don't play mech anymore. But besides that, people also don't want to give up information. But I'm going to go a little more old school and just try to get a nice, fast wall up. I'm trying to think if I still want to go for the double starport. I think because I will supply block for a little bit, I am going to have the extra gas. So that is a nice adaptation I can build. The thing I'm scared of with this is that an observer might see me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add an engineering bay. And let's see, is there an observer already? I don't think so. A little bit of a nice trick there to try and figure that out, zooming in around your base. That depot is going to finish. But I think if I have some missile turrets, it's going to be a little easier for me to actually spot that. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get scouting in this game. I lost that Marine earlier. Oh, I lost every single Marine. I don't even remember what happened to my bunker. Did he just target fire that right away? I guess that must have been what he did. It felt like it died so fast, I pretty much forgot it existed. Have you seen an observer yet? I don't think so. The observer is super important here, by the way, because if the observer doesn't see what I'm doing, then the banshees are going to pop off. If he does see them, they're pretty much going to do nothing, so that's a pretty big difference. Now, I'm going to do something even crazier here, completely unusual, and I'm not even doing it for the sake of being insane. Oh yeah, okay, his units are out there. I think I can probably still take it, but it's just a little scary. I was going to say, I want to make a planetary at my third base. Just so you guys know, there's probably a lot of people out there that's like, isn't that normal? If a pro player sees you take a planetary as your third, they're not going to be happy with you. Like, you're just not supposed to waste your money on... Oh, wait, he just blinked, didn't he? Pretty sure he just blinked, so I'm going to be able to kill a bunch of units there. Look at that, it's very nice. And then I'm going to make the planetary over here. That's going to keep me safe. And I will have 2 banshees flying around the map trying to enter his base. Now, the next step is that we're going to make some turrets around, so I don't die to a Warpers and Warping in Zealots. You could tell he was already Warping in Zealots there. They didn't have charge yet, but no one would ever warp in Zealots. Well, it sounds like... Oh, okay, we're a little bit too late there. That's unfortunate. Oh, he sees it in range of the prism! That is actually beautiful for us. There we go. So that's going to die pretty fast. This is going to be a planetary. Okay, in the end, this is going to be quite nice. I'm going to unsiege this tank, so I don't kill my own tank with the friendly fire. And this is going to be an extremely nice defense. Mostly because he, you know, put his prism in range of my turret. Actually, honestly, it was going to be fine anyway, but that definitely didn't hurt. And I saw his units were over here. My planetary actually saved me from that, which is absolutely awesome. I have 65 SCVs, which is pretty good. Okay, so we know he has a robo. I really doubt that he has an observer at home, because who would have an observer for the 8-minute double banshee? If he did have an observer here, I would call him a hacker. Because that's just so ridiculous. Let's see. It's probably already chrono boosting an observer, though. Now, I see an observer over there. Didn't find a cyclone close enough. The observer is not over here. So I'm still going to be able to kill a lot of probes. And here you go. The freaking command center first into the third planetary, double factory into the double starport, guys. Tell me you have to play the standard build because nothing else works. Try and tell me after I just played this. Now, I still haven't won the game, of course, so I probably shouldn't be too overconfident here. I'm actually going to add the upgrades for my planetaries because I think he would probably try to bust me here. Now, let's see. I have enough SCVs. I can probably stop building SCVs for a little bit, and then I'll go for a 4th command center. It's going to be a very nice wall, too. Now, the biggest thing I'm actually missing is blue flame Hellions. And I say that because I don't necessarily have a great army against Zealots. Tanks, really not that good against Zealots. Cyclones are actually surprisingly okay against Zealots, but they're still not exactly what you want to have. Now, just so I don't confuse you guys thinking we have a... What the hell is that? Sorry, my headset makes random sounds sometimes. I really have no idea what's up with that. Even lost my train of thought there for a second. Oh yeah, I saw that he was about to take his 4th base, or he already had it because I saw probes moving there. So his mineral line is probably at least saturated, and this one got resaturated as well, which means that our eco is not going to be that fantastically ahead. Going to kill a lot more workers over here. Wait, did I not... I thought I made Banshee... Did I make the wrong upgrade, or did I make no upgrade? I think I might have actually made no upgrade. I'm pretty sure I started Banshee speed. I guess the composition we're going for here is going to be Cyclone... There's a Warp Prism over there. It's going to be Cyclone... let me kill that Observer. I remember that from earlier. Cyclone Hellion Banshee. Probably should make a couple armories for that as well. Let's see if I can find it. Well, sucks for me that the Adept was there, because that Adept is going to... see what he's building. Just Mass Gate. Okay, he's playing Mass Gateway style. Yeah, I'm not going to catch that Prism because of that Cyclone. I guess killing the Adept is also nice, but... yeah, it's really not the most meaningful thing ever. Okay, so what I'm afraid of here is that my opponent is just going to get too much eco. He has a lot of freaking Observers too, which is hella annoying. I do have a very active army, by the way, which could be good in... catching his army. Normally you don't really want to run out too easily against like a Mass Gateway army, but I guess in this case it might actually be doable. Doesn't even have probes here. He does have a Dark Shrine. Pretty interesting that he has a Dark Shrine actually against someone playing mech. I feel like his army is going to show up here at any time. Also, one thing that really sucks for us, by the way, is that I thought I made Banshee speed, but apparently I didn't, and that cost me so much. I would have been able to do so much more damage if I just had Banshee speed. I'm going to do something crazy here, and I'm actually going to add more Starports, because I feel like these Banshees have just had, yeah, pretty much just infinite value throughout this game, so I might as well just make more of them. Now, I do want to go for an attack, because if I don't... Actually, let me put that base over here instead of making an orbital. I think it's going to be nice to have a little bit of extra position on the map. And I'm going to move out with my Banshee Hellion army. Now, normally this army does not work at all. The reason why here I think it might is because I haven't seen him build splash damage. And his army is not that... Okay, so he's making splash damage now. I'm going to be able to catch 2 Immortals here, by the way, right off the bat, which is freaking awesome. Let's see. His army is pretty close by. I think I might like to... Oh, that's a rough blink forward for him, I have to say. I was going to say... Oh, no, I don't have a scan. There's an Observer right there. And if I had a scan, I would be able to absolutely kill that Observer and then annihilate everything. I mean, my army is doing fantastic over here. Hellbats on the Zealots. The Banshees are still alive. I still don't have a scan, which is very, very unfortunate. There's a DT in my main... Oh, there. The person was from there. I had no idea how that actually got into my main base, but then I found it. I still have 81 SCVs, which is nice. And I guess I'll just have to wait for reinforcements over here. He decided to go for Phoenixes. Interesting choice there to go for the Phoenixes for sure. I think maybe I should change these into Hellions and just try to get a quick run by. Might be able to kill a couple extra workers with this. Looks like I will be able to, which is nice. Try to get some good lineups on the probes. There we go. Did I? Oh, I did actually kill that in the end. Oh, there's just a little bit of extra airspace over here. That's how he got in. But let's see, still have 83 workers, which is fine. Need to make this a planetary, try to rebalance my eco a little bit. And since I'm playing crazy and I'm doing something I'm not used to, I do need a little bit of extra brain power to actually get the things going. Now, one thing that scared me is that I saw a fleet beacon. And fleet beacon stuff is pretty hard to counter when you're playing mech. Your first instinct might be to think that I should build Thors. The problem with Thors is that Thors suck against everything else that Protoss builds. Oh, there's an observer already there. Need to be careful. I'm sure there's... where did those probes come from? Either he has that base or he just ran them away. I think most likely he just ran them away. Tell me Banshees are not the greatest freaking unit ever, by the way. Oh my god. How many pros have I killed with Banshees? It's pretty insane. Now, I could tell that he did get observer speed. That's going to be something that's a little annoying to deal with. Now, the approach he's going for, by the way, in case you guys are curious why he's losing so freaking many probes, it is not a crazy approach at all. What he's doing is he just made so many Nexi that he can chrono boost the probes he loses instantly, which pretty much is the way I used to play against mech, to be honest, because it's just, you can really make a gajillion probes. Okay, so he saw, wow, can an observer actually catch up? I see the observer there. Look how fast that thing is. Is it catching up to my freaking units right now? Barely not, I think. Right now, it's actually barely not catching up, but it does seem to be the same speed, which is freaking absurd. Okay, so he sees my Hellions. He can actually lift these with his Phoenixes, but he doesn't have that many Phoenixes yet. So he can't really go for lifting them all at the same time, because then his Phoenixes are not going to kill them. So I have maxed out once again. I think it's a good time to add a couple more armories over here. I would like to know where his army is. Right now I don't, and that's quite annoying. Okay, so I think he just tried to warp in a sentry over there, which is quite funny. His upgrades are interesting, actually. He has attack upgrades only. Oh, there's going to be a couple of Immortals that I can kill. Let me make sure to morph the Hellbat. Dude, the Hellbats have been so good against these Zealots. Like, actually incredibly good. Now I can just chase him down. He's going to have to run away. Going to be able to kill... If he doesn't fight with the Stalkers, he's going to lose his Tempest. Those Phoenixes are going to die pretty fast as well. And it kind of... Let me make sure to kill that Observer. There we go. And... telling you guys, Hellbat Cyclone Banshee against a freaking 7-base Protoss with Tempest is actually gonna work. And there you go. This is exactly the kind of stuff I'm telling you about, guys. This game was absolutely, completely off the rails compared to any meta game. If you would show this replay to any content creator without the name attached, they would never guess that this was like one of the best Terrans playing this. They would guess that it's a good Terran because of the mechanics and all that. Can't deny that speed and stuff matters, of course. But this is not a strategy you would see any good... In fact, people would probably guess it's me because he's fast and he plays like an absolute idiot, right? But Command Center first, walling the front so I don't struggle against the Adepts, into the 2 factory, into the Planetary at the 3rd, into the 2 Starport freaking Banshee, into mass mech with mass Banshees. And the best part about this is that we played against Shameless. All of you guys might not know him because he's not that big of a name, but he's actually one of the better PvT players in Europe right now. Very frequently, you'll see him beat Cure, Beyond Hero Marine, and we just absolutely owned him playing like a baboon. That was just the first game. Let's keep it going. The second game is against another Grandmaster Protoss. Now, I can't read his name. I have no idea who this is. He does have more MMR than the last opponent, but I don't think that always necessarily means that they're better. Now, let's see. So we went for the CC first. What should we do this time? I actually had a build order at some point, which was... I don't even remember exactly how it worked. It was a completely off-meta build, but it was actually very cool. So it was something like you would go for a barracks as normal, but then you would just skip the gas by like a full supply. Now, an easy tip I can give to you guys doing standard Terran openers is you make the barracks first, then you make the gas right after without making another SCV. And what that does is that you'll have 50 gas by the time the barracks finishes, so you can make a Reaper. So I would have to make it, you know, literally right now. Actually, a bit before, because I already have an SCV in the queue. But instead, you delay the gas by a little bit. This build was just like one of those really weird, extremely optimized builds that I made where all the gas trickled in at just the right time. So what I do with this is I can just expand a little faster. There's a couple of things that you can do just on purpose to play anti-meta, right? So what happens normally if you play a 1 gas expand against Protoss is the command center should go down. I think the timing is like 145 or maybe a bit earlier, like 142, 143. And a lot of the high-ranked Protoss players, they will know exactly this timing. So what they do is they'll arrive exactly in time to block your command center. If you look at my money right now, I can just make my command center 5 seconds earlier. So a lot of times you can skip that entire part. You're just not going to get your command center blocked at all, which is very nice. And then instead of making a reactor, I'm just going to make 3 Marines from a naked barracks. And then I'll just go for the factory right away. Now, I really don't remember exactly how this build went. All I remember is that I believe I went for Blue Flame Hellion and Banshees at the same time. And then I would just send my stuff everywhere and just kill probes in like 10 different ways, right? And then at some point I would go for... I'm not even sure if I made a 3rd command center with that. I just remember going for like a really big 2-base tank push or something like that. Now I guess after this I can make a reactor. Oh, I do remember one part about this build. I think what I used to do as well is I had a version where I would go for a mine drop. And then I would just walk 9 Marines across the map. And normally you'll never be on the map at that point, so usually what the Protoss would do is just send, let's say they'll have 3 Stalkers, they'll send all of them to the medevac to take care of the mine drop. But then all the Marines walk into the natural and you can kill like 5 probes and get yourself ahead, right? I think I'm just gonna go for that build, because that would be pretty cool. And then I need to somehow add my gases earlier, so I can actually go for Blue Flame. Now, I think this build was not the typical Blue Flame. Normally, if you go for... by the way, no one plays Blue Flame against Protoss. It just doesn't really exist. Last game, the fact that I made it was already weird, but there it made more sense than what I'm gonna do now. Because there I was making it with my mech composition. But it's not the usual Blue Flame build, because usually if you go for Blue Flame, you would just make a lot of Hellions and run them by. That kind of thing, right? What I'm gonna do is I'll make Blue Flame Hellions and tanks at the same time. Because that way I can maybe defend against Blink Stalkers and put on pressure at the same time. It's kind of one of those strategies where you're trying to, instead of defending as economically as possible, which is the most typical approach, you try to defend while doing damage at the same time, so you don't have to defend that strictly, pretty much. Now my opponent went for a Sentry first, used energy recharge, so he could... I think I have the 2nd factory now. So he could hallucinate Phoenixes and scout very well. Sadly for him, the scouting needed to happen later on, because now, you know, what he saw doesn't look weird at all, even though it's definitely weird. That's one thing that's nice about making your own builds, is that you can tune your builds so that they look normal, but they are completely weird. Now here I'm going for my 2nd factory already. Oh, those Marines should have been pathed a little bit better. Slight mistake there by me. Gonna start my Banshees. Oh, so he went for actual Phoenixes too. Oh, this is going to be an interesting one. I actually don't know what he's going to have. He doesn't have enough Phoenixes to lift all of these. Okay, he doesn't have enough units for that. It's kind of... Okay, this is a little scary. I'm not sure if going for a Hellions is going to be the right choice now. Okay, how do I want to deal with this? I might need some on-the-fly adaptations here. I think the best thing I can do is run by these 2 Hellions. Like, these Marines are all dead. This is actually completely fine because I have a wall off. But he might go across the map. In fact, he should go across the map. And then my Hellions can do some serious counter damage. I think what we have to do is probably cancel this Banshee. It's going to depend on whether he shows up with his Phoenixes or not. And then I'm going to go into Thor's. I'm going to make 2 armories right away. I was really not planning to be this economical, but I guess we'll see. He's... Okay, I can already tell everything I need to know about this guy. This guy is a person that plays with a... slightly off-meta plan. Like, it's not completely off-meta what he's doing, but Phoenix Colossus. That's the build he's going for, at least it should be. It used to be popular, but it's not really popular anymore. But based on the fact that he didn't move out after he killed my army, means that he's one of those guys that just follows his build no matter what. Right? I can already tell that this guy is one of those unmind gameable people. So I shouldn't try to add too many mind games into the mix against him. I should just be countering exactly what I see, because that's what he's going to keep playing. Now, this level of psychoanalysis is maybe not something you want to add into your regular games, but here I'm pretty certain of it. Now, I do... Oh, God, he had an observer there early. That's a good catch by him. I mean, to be fair, it's once again not the biggest deal, because those Widow Mines were not going to add too much value later on. But I kind of wish that I would have saved those. That's actually definitely a mistake by me. It's you know, it's good to complement your opponent's plays. Oh, he has an observer for that too. That's painful. It's good to complement your opponent's plays, but you also need to realize when you are the one that ended up making the mistake there. And the mistake there was that I should have just known that he had an observer there already. For some reason, I just assumed he was going to go straight ahead for Colossus, right? But I should have known that he would have had the observer there. So that's a mistake by me losing those Widow Mines. But now, since I adapted so heavily, I think we're actually in a decent spot to win this game. And a lot of you guys are going to be absolutely shocked at me saying this, but I'm playing a extremely off-meta unit composition that is good against Phoenix Colossus. Now, the problem is that he probably scouted exactly what I'm doing already. But let me explain to you guys. Thors, last game, you guys might remember that I told you, Thors are not really good against anything besides the carriers. Well, that's not 100% true. Thors are good against, besides the air units, against 2 other units, I believe. What's the other? Oh, yeah. The Colossus, for sure. Thors are good against Colossus. What they're also good against is Archons. And this strategy is really good against Phoenix Colossus for that reason. Because usually how players play Phoenix Colossus is that they spend all of their gas on Phoenixes and Colossus. So far, it makes a little sense. And because they have a lot of minerals left, they will go for charge and just spam a lot of Zealots like crazy, pretty much. Wait, did I save that Banshee earlier? I actually forgot what happened to that, to be honest. Where is that Banshee? I hope I'm not... Okay, there it is. I could not find that at all. So Thor, Hellbat, Banshee. The Thors are going to be really good against both Colossi and Archons, which is a common unit to add when you're playing against mech, because Archons are good against tanks. And then I'm going to have the... Wait, he got... I'm not crazy, right? That was range. He had purple... Okay, that's pretty good for me because, you know... Thors are not going to die to Phoenixes. Phoenixes can't lift Thors, by the way, because they're massive, if you guys were curious. So that is why. Yeah, this ended up being quite a fascinating game. Didn't really expect to be playing a Thor Banshee over here, but here we are. Now, I could follow this up in a couple ways. I could either just go for a big push, which is definitely what I'm going to do, by the way. But I could either keep making the same units and try to force it, or I could transition... Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Judging by that Phoenix movement, he didn't have vision. He was just trying to find my Banshees. Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, he caught me here, not because he had vision, but because he was just, you know, doing a circle motion like this, or semicircle, I guess, just to try and find my Banshees. But that's a lot of cannons. I think one Banshee's gonna stay... Oh, no, his Phoenixes were here already. Yeah, it looks like he's playing carriers, right? Let's see. Okay. I am extremely lucky here. Like, well, not lucky. I adapted, and I was right about my opponent. He is not adapting at all to what I'm doing. Not even, I'm not exaggerating, not even one bit. I'm so happy I did that psychoanalysis earlier, because another player that would have seen what I was doing would have gone for, like, Gateway Army with Disruptors already. Like, no Archons, no Colossus, just Gateway Army plus Disruptor. Instead, this guy is making carriers against someone who's already pretty much only building Thors. So, okay, SCVs are so dumb. It's actually hilarious. I'm gonna move them because it's gonna make me go crazy at some point, but the SCV IQ sometimes is a little small. Yeah, I haven't gotten any damage yet. That is the biggest problem. This normally is a game that you would never win as Terran, where you're not doing any damage at all. But here, since he's kind of playing into my strategy, there might be a small chance that I can win. Now, he really is approaching the perfect army composition, which I shouldn't be able to beat, but honestly, one big surround. I'm gonna get 2/2 upgrades as well. I'm gonna try to get rid of those. Let's see. Okay, he's not here with his army. At least it looks like he's not. His map. Okay, there he is. I'm not gonna really kill any of my Thors with that, which is very nice. Does he have an observer here, or is he just... No, he was just well positioned, I guess. Well done by him. Yeah, the Hellbats, normally they're important. Here, they're not actually going to be important, because my opponent doesn't have anything that I need Hellbats for. He should have given away those Phoenixes a while ago, by the way. Those Phoenixes are now going to be relatively useless. I can also... is that dumb? Maybe it is dumb. I was going to say, maybe I could run by with these Hellions. But the thing is, I don't think it's going to do any damage because of those Phoenixes. I would give those Phoenixes extra value. Wait, this is actually a really good spot for my units, by the way. Now, there's one thing I need to make sure that doesn't happen, and that is just that I get absolutely wiped off the map. He's definitely going to try and hit my Thors. You just witnessed me dodge Disruptor shot with Thors, by the way. Take notes. You're not going to see it very often. I think I just dodged those again, which is awesome. Yeah, my Thors are absolutely popping off here, by the way. I already sniped a bunch of carriers. There we go. And now I'm just going to try and remax. Might kill another of those carriers as well. Now, the Disruptors are going to come off cooldown at some point, and that's why we have to be scared. Oh, he actually launched one too many. That is nice. Let me... Oh, almost could snipe that one. Barely not going to be able to snipe it. I'll just split my Thors in advance, so I don't lose too many to a couple of Disruptor shots. That's pretty much the play. Now, our supply is getting low. I don't think we want to be chasing this guy. I think I'm just going to go back around here. And I would guess he's going to recall. Can't say that for sure. But I think there's a good chance he will be going for that. Okay, I'm going to start attacking the back of this mineral line now. Let's see. Did he recall? He did indeed recall. I think he has a lot more bases than I do. Even now. I would guess that he probably has this base as well. Here's the problem. I could still lose my entire army because of Disruptors. I think it's a good opportunity for me to give away some SCVs and start my 3-3. He did not have this base yet, which is fantastic. He could have the base in the bottom side. Let's see if I can find his army. Haven't found it yet. Doesn't have this base either. I think what we want to do now for sure is we're just going to keep pressuring. I'm actually going to use these to build some turrets, because that seems like it's going to be quite annoying for him. If I don't get wiped off the map, we have a very good situation here. I'm about to go up to 5 bases, which is very nice. His army still looks extremely heavy on Disruptors. Kind of seems like he wanted to counterattack with those carriers, which is a really good idea, by the way. Because those carriers are not going to do that much. Let's see if I can snipe one. Definitely going to be able to kill that one, I think. Did we barely kill it or barely not? It looks like we barely did not kill it. Let's see, I'm going to fight over here as well. Build some more turrets. Yeah, the thing is, if his army gets too big, then we're going to be in trouble. And that's why I want to give my SCVs away. Like, I'm killing workers, which means his army is going to be bigger. Let's see. He is about to show up here. I have a really good surround incoming here, by the way. And keep in mind, I built those turrets earlier, which is very nice. There we go. I'm going to be able to kill those Void Rays. 2 Void Rays fall. His Disruptors, he did keep them in the back there. I'm not quite sure why. I'm going to kill more Void Rays here, too. Going to put these on auto repair. And yeah, I mean, right now, honestly, we're just chilling for the most part. I would love to be able to attack in here. Okay, an idea that I could have is to go for battlecruisers now. The reason why I could go for battlecruisers is so I can actually have like a proper 100% winning condition, right? Like, if I get battlecruisers, I'm not going to struggle against the freaking Disruptors anymore. That's basically the point here. I think I saw his army. I did indeed see his army over there. I am very tempted. Like, I'm going to lose this fight 100%. I just want to lose it not that badly. That's the play here. I am almost maxed on Thors. Actually, I'm pretty much maxed on Thors. I'm going to lose a couple more workers. This could be an elimination race, actually. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'll just build a crap ton of turrets over here. I'll get the upgrades for all my stuff. A base trade is a good idea by him, because you cannot really base trade very well. I mean, Terran is already not that good in base trades anymore. There is this saying, never base trade a Terran. Just so you guys know, that is extremely outdated. That is not actually the case anymore at all. And especially when you're playing mech, of course. Now, I think I'm just going to go here. His eco is going to be incredibly tiny. Let me try to retake this base instantly. Okay, I'm just going to target down the carriers, I think. It's going to be a good idea. Look at this. Oh my goodness, I obliterated a lot of carriers there. I'm going to get the Tempest as well. That was an extremely successful fight. No GG is called. And this is an extremely satisfying game. And the reason why it's so satisfying is because what this opponent just did against me, every Terran out there and every Zerg on the ladder can relate. Everyone hates this. The Protoss player that just plays a campy game into Skytoss, one of the hardest things to defeat in the game, watching him lose to my absolute baboonery, mass Thors, and this entire game was awesome because this was a very high MMR Protoss. He's obviously an expert at what he does. I play like an absolute baboon. Everything went wrong for me. And we still won just because I made a very crazy transition. I read him like a book and we were able to win. And these two games were an absolutely fantastic example of how you can play your own style. You can adapt in your own way. You can make your own builds and you can still compete. Just so you guys know, my MMR on this account, I don't have enough games to be qualified in Grandmaster, but my MMR is about rank 13 in Europe. And this guy I just beat is going to be about rank 20. The last guy I beat is going to be a bit lower, probably like rank 30, 40, but his real skill is a lot higher. And honestly, we absolutely owned them by playing like a baboon and just reacting well, making the right decisions. And that's exactly what I wanted to show for you guys. And I think that's enough for today. I hope you guys had a fantastic time watching these games. Hope I inspired you to unleash your inner baboon. If I did, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all for the next one. Adios.